What's going on? Luke here. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the British Bulldog. We're going to be talking about Luke Thompson. Now, when it was talked about him signing with the Bulldogs, I got to say I was so excited. I was like, wow, we've landed ourselves this superstar, pretty much a superstar. There was all the talk in the Super League how he was the best prop in the world. And then he came to the NRL and it was like, well, I'm not really seeing it. But when you look back on it in hindsight, he came over in the middle of the COVID situation, at its peak probably. He had to do the quarantining, didn't get to do a preseason, and then was chucked into one of the worst sides in the comp and expected to lead from the front. And it's a very, very big ask, and I don't think any player could really do it. I think if you added in a Super League player to this current Bulldogs lineup, or even just any player in general, I think you just chuck him into this Bulldogs side, and it's going to take a little bit of time to adapt just because of the players that are around them. However, I feel like I saw enough last week. I went to the game against Melbourne, and I saw him come back, and I was like, wow, this is the Luke Thompson that we've been expecting. This is the Luke Thompson the Bulldogs need. The Bulldogs need Luke Thompson. They've been crying out for a Luke Thompson, and I think a lot of the hype sort of for him coming over to the Bulldogs, I think it all stems because of James Graham. And I feel like the Bulldogs haven't been the same since James Graham left. Obviously, he led from the front. He was our captain at one point. He was just a tough player. He's one of those guys that other teams looked at and was like, shit, we've got to play James Graham. And I feel like that's what the Bulldogs need. And I feel like Luke Thompson can be that guy. And obviously, there's going to be similarities because they play the same position and they're also from the same country. So yeah, there's obviously going to be similarities in that aspect. So there's always going to be comparisons. But I feel like Luke Thompson is a little bit of a different player in the sense that I feel like James Graham was a bit of a ball player, had pretty good footwork in that. Whereas last week I saw Luke Thompson, he just had that raw power. He just had that aggression. He seemed like a player that's going to strike fear in the opposition. And when he came off the bench, this is his first game back in the NRL since last year. And last year he didn't even play many games. But look, he had that controlled aggression. That's exactly what you want. Last year he got done for eye gouging. That's not what you want. But this one he came on and there was an immediate impact against the reigning premiers, against a four-pack of themselves that is one of the best. You got your Sofa Solomonis, you got your Bromwich boys. He really handled his own, and he came on, and like I said, there was an immediate impact. You could feel just a vibe change. It's like all of a sudden the Bulldogs had confidence, and they actually started to look like an actual NRL side. He came on, he obviously scored a try, which is going to help. It's going to help your confidence big time. But just even the little footwork for his try, it's just like a lot of the forwards, they get the ball and they just see the try line. And I remember Aiden Tolman did it last year. They just get there and they're like, what do I do? Do I just fall over the line? Where he just got it, put the step on. There you go. There's a try for Luke Thompson. But look, one of my favourite things about Luke Thompson that I saw last week was also his chase down. I think it was on Pappenhausen or Nico Hines, one of them. It was one of the fullbacks, one of the many tries that they scored actually. But look, he just kept chasing and he showed great speed, and also he had a good motor on him too, and I think he even cramped up afterwards. So it just shows you that the effort's going to be there, and that's what you want in your side, and that's what I think the Bulldogs are lacking at times. Although it appears like the effort's always there, I'm not sure it always is. I mean, Sione Katoa, I talked about it in my round review. There was so many times watching that game and he was just sort of plodding along, not really doing too much. And I feel like there's probably a lot of Bulldogs guys who are sort of doing similar. But Luke Thompson definitely came on. He led from the front, and that's exactly what they need. And he's sort of one of those players that if he gets going, then other players from other clubs can start looking at him, or even the players around him can go, oh yeah, well Luke Thompson's doing it. Bulldogs, they don't seem that bad. Maybe I can go there and I can play with him. And that's what the Bulldogs need. We need someone who can attract players. And we've already signed Burton, we signed Addo Carr, you got Kotrick there. I think this is a great sign that Luke Thompson's come back, because it's like another signing. It's pretty much like another signing, because last year he didn't play a great deal, and obviously it was a mid-season swap. And also he didn't really get a pre-season, and he came in underdone. So we didn't really get to see the best of Luke Thompson, but I'm just relieved that for all of the money that the Bulldogs have put in, he actually looks like a good player. And I know it's only one game, and it's easy to get ahead of ourselves, and there's been plenty of players who have put in 1 or 2 game efforts and then look like shit for the rest of their career. But when you have him come in and then you compare it to a guy like Dylan Napa, who's been around for years, he's won a premiership, he's on huge money, and you can just notice the difference in quality and just the difference in effort. I feel like Dylan Napa, he has all the attributes to be a good player, but he just seems to lack the main thing, and that's a motor. And I feel like that's a big thing for Dylan Napa. He's a big body, he can put a hit on, he can do damaging runs. We've seen him do it. It's just a matter of he just doesn't have the heart to do it. And when we lost David Klemmer, Dylan Napa was literally his replacement. He was supposed to come in and be our enforcer, and it just hasn't worked out. It really hasn't worked out. We've got Hetherington there, who's looked pretty good so far, and Luke Thompson's back. I am so excited to see what the Bulldogs are going to do in 2021. I think it's definitely going to be an upwards trajectory. Hopefully they keep going up. Because look, I feel like he's just one of those players that the Bulldogs needed. Same way as the Cowboys. You're adding Jason Tambalalo, and all of a sudden that forward pack's a pretty damn good forward pack. All purely because of Tambalalo. Tambalalo can just carry them on, and I'm hoping Luke Thompson can do the same for the Bulldogs. Obviously, the players around him, they're not superstars by any means. Like, you still got your Adam Elliott, Josh Jacksons. you know, they're not Origin standard players these days, so we can talk about Jackson, but the rest of them, they're sort of decent players, but they're not fantastic. Whereas Luke Thompson, I'm hoping he can come in and lay the platform and they can just play off the back of him. The only thing the Bulldogs are really lacking, though, in my opinion, is just a hooker and someone to actually give them good service from dummy half. So a lot of the times I kind of feel bad for the forwards and also the backs and halves and all that, because they don't have anyone there to give good service. Whoever, we'll say Jackson Topini, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. He's looked pretty good and they looked a lot better when he came on. So hopefully he can get the job done. And obviously I'm not a fan of Siota Katoa. But yeah, back on the topic of Luke Thompson is the reason I'm doing this video. I just wanted to talk about the fact that I think he's exactly what the Bulldogs needed. And it just so happens to be that he's an Englishman. And like I said earlier, like when he came over and he signed for big money, there was all the hype about him. You had the James Graham comparisons, even just comparing him to the rest of the English lads in, say, like the Raiders side, how they've come over and just immediately killed it. And then he came over and he kind of just looked like just an average sort of first grader. It definitely looked like a first grader, but just looked like an average sort of first grader. And then all of a sudden last week he comes out, he goes gangbusters against the Storm in his first game back. It was exactly what we wanted to see. In a time when there's not much hope for a Bulldogs fan, he definitely gave a little bit of hope. So look, maybe I'm clutching at straws here. Maybe I'm just looking for something to clutch on because I'm a Bulldogs fan. But at the same time, I don't think you can look at last week and not say he did look like a good prospect at least. And he's not very old either. He's still sort of developing into a player. And obviously this is his proper first season in the NRL. So he's only going to get better from here, you would imagine. And we've seen players like Sam Burgess and James Graham and all them. They've all sort of developed as the years have gone by in the NRL and end up being absolute superstars of the game. So fingers crossed Luke Thompson follows their lead and ends up taking the NRL by storm and continues to grow his game and actually become one of the best props in the NRL. Because there was actually so much talk about him being the best prop in the world, but until you come and do it in the NRL, I don't think you can actually say that. But that's exactly what he's doing. He's coming over to the NRL and just no more suspensions, no more eye gouging and stupid shit. We've already got players who can already do that, your Napas and Hetheringtons. Just let's leave that to them. And more importantly, just please come get us some wins. We need a win. We need a win very, very soon. Play the Cowboys this week. Hopefully it's the week. Anyways, that's all I've got to say about Luke Thompson. Leave in the comment section below. Do you think he's going to end up a good player, a great signing for the Bulldogs, a bad signing? Do you think there's been bad signs for him? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, while you're at it, make sure you go ahead and give this video a like if you happen to enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and turn on the notification bells. It's super important in terms of you've actually seen the video, because we know the sub boxes, they're not that good. So use the notification bell, it's way better. You get a little notification on your phone, you can just click on the video, leave a first comment, do whatever you want to do. Also give me a follow on social media, it's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT for the most part. Just Mr. Luke for Facebook, but for everything else, including Snapchat, it's Mr. Luke on YT. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for this video. Stay tuned for more content on the channel, and I'll see you next time. See yous!